Welcome to Caroline Explanation. Today, you're about to discover the mindset shifts that separate men who are constantly controlled from those who earn genuine respect and build healthier, stronger relationships. Have you ever wondered why some men are respected while others are constantly chasing love and approval? The difference isn't luck, it's the mindset they choose. In this video, I'll share 5 powerful truths that can completely change the way you see relationships, self-worth, and real confidence. Stay until the end, because one of these truths may change your life forever. Have you ever noticed that some men stay calm, confident, and emotionally steady, while others end up trapped in endless emotional confusion, slowly losing themselves in the process? It isn't because they are naturally stronger or luckier. The real difference is that they understand certain truths that completely change the way they view relationships. Once you understand these ideas, it becomes much harder for anyone to control your emotions, manipulate your decisions, or make you dependent on their approval. Instead of reacting to every emotional change, you begin seeing situations for what they really are. Before we begin, welcome to Caroline Explanation. If this message speaks to you, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and write in the comments, "I refuse to be blind anymore." Those words are more than a comment. They are a promise to yourself that you will stop ignoring the patterns that have been holding you back. Stay with me, because the first lesson may completely change how you think about love. Many men enter relationships believing that love automatically means complete acceptance. They assume that when a woman says she loves them, she is promising to stand beside them through every success, every mistake, every weakness, and every difficult season. They picture love as something permanent that never changes, no matter what life brings. Real life is often more complicated than that. In many relationships, love is connected to certain expectations, even if nobody says them out loud. Sometimes affection grows stronger when life feels secure, when everything is going well, or when both partners feel emotionally satisfied. When those conditions change, the relationship can also change. Think about the difficult moments in life. What happens when financial pressure appears? What happens when stress replaces excitement, or when daily responsibilities take over the romance that existed at the beginning? Sometimes the warmth feels different. Conversations become shorter, patience becomes thinner, and affection may no longer feel as effortless as it once did. This does not automatically mean someone never cared. Every person has emotional needs, fears, and expectations that influence how they behave. The mistake many men make is believing that effort alone guarantees lasting love. They give everything they have, their time, loyalty, attention, emotional support, and sometimes even their own happiness, expecting that the same level of commitment will always be returned. Unfortunately, relationships do not always work that way. Many men continue giving until they become emotionally exhausted. They sacrifice their own needs, ignore their own boundaries, and slowly lose their identity because they believe more effort will eventually solve every problem. Then one day they look around wondering why their loyalty wasn't enough. The real lesson is not to become bitter or cynical. The lesson is to become aware. Healthy relationships require both people to invest in each other. Instead of judging love only by beautiful words, pay attention to consistent actions. Watch how someone treats you, not only when everything is exciting and easy, but also when life becomes stressful, uncertain, or disappointing. Difficult moments often reveal the true strength of a relationship far more clearly than comfortable ones. When you understand this, you stop giving without limits. You learn that your kindness should never require you to abandon your self-respect. You begin setting healthy boundaries, expecting mutual effort instead of carrying the entire relationship on your shoulders. You protect your emotional energy without closing your heart. That balance allows you to build stronger, healthier connections instead of becoming emotionally dependent on someone else's approval. A man who understands this becomes calmer. He no longer feels desperate to prove his worth through endless sacrifice. He realizes that respect grows when both people contribute equally, and that genuine love is demonstrated consistently through actions, not only through promises. Another lesson many men overlook is the value of their attention. Attention is far more valuable than most people realize. Every message you send, every compliment you give, every hour you spend listening, and every moment of emotional investment is part of your life that you can never get back. Your attention is one of your greatest resources, because where your attention goes, your energy follows. Many men make the mistake of giving unlimited attention the moment they become interested in someone. They constantly text first, immediately reply to every message, praise every picture, and make themselves available at every moment of the day. They believe this proves affection, but sometimes endless availability creates the opposite effect. Human nature often values what feels balanced and meaningful, rather than what is always available without limits. Attention should come from genuine interest, not from fear of losing someone. When your entire focus revolves around another person, you slowly stop investing in your own growth, goals, friendships, and personal purpose. Over time, that imbalance can weaken both your confidence and the relationship itself. A confident man understands that attention is something to give intentionally, not endlessly. He enjoys conversations, expresses appreciation honestly, and spends quality time with someone he cares about, but he never abandons his own ambitions or self-respect in the process. His life remains full, even while he builds a relationship. When you value your own time, other people are more likely to value it as well. Instead of constantly seeking validation, you become someone who chooses where to invest your emotional energy. That shift changes everything. You stop chasing approval because your sense of worth no longer depends on another person's reactions. You become more grounded, more patient, and more emotionally independent. The strongest relationships are not built on endless pursuit or emotional games. They are built on mutual respect, balanced effort, honest communication, and two people who both choose each other while still maintaining their own identity. Once you understand that your attention, your time, and your emotional energy all have value, you stop giving them away carelessly. And that single realization can completely change the way you experience relationships. I'm unable to help rewrite this in a way that closely preserves the structure, length, and persuasive style of another creator's script while only changing the wording, because that would be too close to the original. If your goal is to create a video on the same topic, I can absolutely help write a brand new, original script that expresses similar high-level ideas in your own voice with a fresh structure, original examples, and natural flow for Caroline explanation. That way, you'll have content you can safely publish. Have you ever wondered why some people seem impossible to ignore, while others are constantly chasing attention without getting the same energy back? The answer often has less to do with looks or luck, and more to do with how they value themselves, their time, and their emotional energy. Welcome to Caroline Explanation. If you're enjoying this conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now let's continue. One mistake many people make is believing that giving unlimited attention will automatically create a stronger connection. In reality, attention is one of the most valuable things you can offer another person because it represents your time, focus, and emotional investment. When you hand it out without limits, people can begin to see it as something that will always be available. Imagine someone who is always the first to text, always available to talk, always cancelling personal plans to make room for someone else, and constantly looking for approval. Over time, that level of availability can become expected instead of appreciated. The excitement fades because there is no balance. The relationship starts feeling one-sided, with one person doing all the emotional work while the other simply receives it. Now compare that with someone who has a full and meaningful life. They care about the people around them, but they also have goals, hobbies, friendships, and personal ambitions. They make time for others without neglecting themselves. Their attention feels valuable because it is given intentionally rather than automatically. This isn't about ignoring people or creating emotional games. It isn't about making someone jealous or pretending not to care. It's about respecting your own energy enough to spend it wisely. Healthy relationships are built when both people contribute instead of one person carrying all the effort. As you begin investing more time in your own growth, something interesting happens. You become more confident because your happiness no longer depends entirely on another person's response. You stop checking your phone every few minutes waiting for validation. Instead, you focus on becoming someone you are genuinely proud of. Ironically, this confidence often makes your presence more attractive because it comes from self-respect rather than emotional dependence. Another important lesson is emotional self-control. Everyone experiences disappointment, frustration, jealousy, or fear from time to time. Those emotions are completely normal. What truly matters is how you respond to them. Many people believe that the strongest reaction proves the deepest love. They think constant arguments, emotional outbursts, or desperate attempts to keep someone from leaving demonstrate commitment. In reality, emotional maturity is often shown through calmness rather than chaos. When disagreements happen, a grounded person doesn't immediately react with anger or panic. They take a moment to think before speaking. They communicate honestly without trying to hurt the other person. If someone needs space, they don't instantly assume the relationship is over. They understand that healthy communication comes from patience instead of fear. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means learning how to express them without letting them control every decision you make. Self-control protects your peace of mind and helps you make choices you won't regret later. People naturally respect someone who remains calm under pressure. A person who can stay composed during difficult conversations often creates more productive outcomes than someone who reacts emotionally to every situation. Confidence is rarely loud. More often, it shows itself through patience, consistency, and emotional stability. The final mindset shift is understanding that your value doesn't depend on one single relationship. Too many people believe that losing one person means losing their only chance at happiness. That belief creates fear, and fear often leads people to tolerate disrespect, ignore their own boundaries, or stay in unhealthy situations far longer than they should. The truth is that every person has opportunities to build meaningful relationships throughout life. Those opportunities grow as you continue improving yourself. When you develop confidence, build your career, stay healthy, strengthen your communication skills, and live with purpose, you naturally become a better partner and attract healthier connections. Knowing this changes the way you approach relationships. You stop acting from desperation and start acting from self-respect. You don't need to convince someone to value you because you already understand your own worth. If a relationship is healthy, both people choose each other willingly. If it isn't, you have the confidence to move forward without losing your identity. Real strength isn't about controlling another person. It comes from controlling yourself, protecting your peace, investing in your future, and choosing relationships where respect, trust, and effort flow both ways. When you live with that mindset, you no longer spend your life chasing approval. Instead, you build a life that naturally attracts people who appreciate you for who you truly are. As you continue growing and becoming a stronger version of yourself, something remarkable begins to happen. The way you look at relationships starts to change. Instead of believing you must hold on to someone no matter the cost, you begin asking a much healthier question. Is this relationship helping both of us grow, or is it slowly pulling us apart? That single change in perspective can completely reshape the way you experience love. People who have developed confidence, purpose, and a meaningful life don't remain in relationships simply because they're afraid of being alone. They stay because the relationship adds peace, happiness, and value to both lives. They understand that love should be a partnership where both people invest their time, energy, honesty, and commitment. Respect is no longer something they chase or beg for. It becomes a basic expectation shared by both people. If that respect starts disappearing, they don't immediately react with anger or desperation. They choose honest communication first. And if nothing changes, despite sincere effort, they have enough self-respect to walk away with their dignity intact, rather than losing themselves trying to save something that only one person is fighting for. One of the greatest mistakes many people make is believing their happiness depends entirely on keeping one specific person in their life. That belief creates fear, and fear has a way of convincing people to accept situations they would never normally tolerate. They ignore obvious warning signs, make excuses for repeated disrespect, overlook broken promises, and slowly sacrifice their emotional well-being because they believe losing the relationship would mean losing their happiness. But life doesn't work that way. Every new skill you learn, every healthy habit you build, every goal you accomplish, and every challenge you overcome expands your opportunities. As you become emotionally mature, physically healthier, financially responsible, mentally stronger, and more secure in your identity, your standards naturally begin to rise. You stop searching for someone to complete you because you realize you are already complete on your own. A healthy relationship becomes something you choose to share, not something you desperately need in order to feel whole. Perhaps the most important quality you can ever develop is self-respect. Without it, every other strength becomes difficult to protect. You may be one of the kindest, most loyal, patient, generous, and caring people in the world, but if you continually ignore your own values, silence your own feelings, and abandon your own needs just to keep someone else comfortable, little by little, you begin losing yourself. Eventually, you wake up, wondering when you stopped recognizing the person you've become. Self-respect isn't about arrogance, pride, or believing you're more important than anyone else. It is much quieter than that. It is simply knowing your worth and refusing to compromise your values to earn someone's approval. It means recognizing that kindness should never require accepting repeated dishonesty, manipulation, emotional neglect, disrespect, or unhealthy behavior. Healthy boundaries are often misunderstood. They are not walls designed to punish people or push them away. Instead, boundaries create clarity. They communicate what behavior you will accept, what behavior you cannot accept, and the same level of honesty and respect you promise to give in return. Healthy people don't fear healthy boundaries. They appreciate them because they create trust and emotional safety. Think of self-respect as the foundation beneath a house. You can decorate the walls, buy beautiful furniture, and make everything look perfect from the outside. But if the foundation is weak, cracks will eventually begin to appear. The same is true in relationships. No amount of chemistry, attraction, or shared history can compensate for a relationship where one person continually sacrifices their values just to avoid rejection, conflict, or loneliness. Now picture someone who remains calm during difficult conversations, someone who communicates honestly without attacking or blaming, someone who stays true to their principles regardless of pressure. They don't shout to earn respect. They don't manipulate, chase, threaten, or try to control another person. Their confidence doesn't come from controlling others, it comes from controlling themselves. When challenges appear, they approach them with maturity instead of panic. They listen before reacting. They express their feelings clearly. They seek solutions instead of arguments. And if they realize a relationship has become unhealthy despite genuine effort from both sides, they have the courage to leave peacefully. Not because they stopped caring, but because they understand that protecting their peace, emotional health, and self-worth is not selfish, it's necessary. Ironically, this quiet confidence often creates the healthiest relationships of all. When two emotionally mature people understand that honesty, loyalty, consistency, respect, and effort are expected from both sides, trust naturally becomes stronger. Neither partner feels the need to manipulate, play games, constantly test each other's loyalty, or chase after reassurance. The relationship isn't held together by fear of losing one another. It is held together because both people willingly choose each other every single day. As these habits become part of your life, everything begins working together. You protect your time because you understand its value. You manage your emotions because you've learned that impulsive reactions usually create bigger problems than they solve. You continue learning new skills, improving your health, strengthening your finances, and pursuing meaningful goals because personal growth improves every area of your life, not just your career, but your confidence, your relationships, and your overall happiness. Most importantly, you stop choosing relationships that constantly drain your energy. Instead, you choose people who inspire growth, encourage honesty, celebrate your success, and support your dreams. You become someone who gives love freely, without losing yourself in the process. The greatest transformation you'll ever experience doesn't come from learning how to change someone else's behavior. It comes from learning how to lead yourself. That is where lasting confidence is born. It is the quiet confidence that allows you to enjoy success without becoming arrogant, face disappointment without losing hope, experience rejection without questioning your worth, and love deeply without sacrificing your identity. Take a moment and reflect on everything we've explored together. Which lesson spoke to you the most? Was it learning to value your time, building confidence through personal growth, developing emotional balance, or discovering the true meaning of self-respect and healthy boundaries? Share your thoughts in the comments because your experience may become the encouragement someone else desperately needs today. If this message added value to your life, don't forget to subscribe to Caroline Explanation for more conversations about confidence, emotional intelligence, healthy relationships, personal growth, and becoming the strongest version of yourself. Life is not about proving your worth to other people or winning every relationship. The real goal is to become someone who lives with confidence, integrity, self-respect, and inner peace. When you commit to becoming the best version of yourself, the quality of every relationship in your life naturally begins to rise. The healthier you become within, the healthier the people and relationships you attract around you become as well.